I honestly have no idea what Sony was thinking when it comes to this PS5 Pro announcement. Yo, what's good? It's Mistora. So the PS5 Pro was announced, y'all, as I'm sure you're all aware by now and have seen the crazy news. This thing is $700, y'all. $700. That's with no disk drive and no vertical stand. You gotta buy those separate. Like, I'm baffled. I'm beyond comprehension. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know what they were thinking. Now, as far as for what you get for that price in terms of performance and how the console itself looks, I like what I saw, right? I'm not gonna lie, just be all negative. I did like what I saw in those aspects. Essentially, you know how with PS5 games, the majority of them have two modes for the graphics, either a fidelity mode that focuses on better looking visuals, but runs at 30 FPS, or performance mode, which is what I always choose, where graphics don't look as good, but the game shoots for 60 FPS. With the PS5 Pro and its bumped up specs, the idea is that essentially you don't gotta choose. You're gonna get the best of both worlds. You'll get those great visuals of the fidelity mode and the higher frame rate of performance mode all at the same time. And there is some other stuff in here like AI driven upscaling like PC has had for a hot minute now, but essentially everything about this Pro console is made with the goal in mind of that best of both worlds scenario that I told you about, right? For the graphics. And while that's all fine and dandy, the price is just still not it, right? And, I want to talk about how some aspects surrounding this announcement just further make it seem like it wasn't a smart move in terms of the price and some other decisions surrounding it as it relates to me personally a bit, but also just how it potentially affects Sony at large. So first off, for me personally, this announcement sucked. I can't even lie, mostly because of the price. Like, I couldn't even be excited about the improved performance. This is relevant, so for a bit of background regarding my approach to deciding on what platform I choose to get games on, even though I have what I consider to be a capable gaming PC, right? All I care about is 1080p 60 FPS. That is the only benchmark I want to hit for my gaming experience. I personally couldn't care less about 4K nor 120 FPS. I don't need them. 1080 60 is good enough for me, right? So with that in mind, I have a 3060 Ti for my GPU and a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, and I believe it's 32 gigs of RAM. It should be 32 gigs of RAM, which should in most cases be plenty for what I want out of my games graphically. But lately, a lot of PC ports of games are just insanely unoptimized, like poorly so, to the point where I can't even blame my rig, because with PC ports of certain games like Dragon's Dogma 2 and Gotham Knights, to name two specific games, I was seeing videos of people with damn near supercomputers. I'm talking 4090 Ti's, top of the line CPUs, and just an insanely unnecessary amount of RAM, still experiencing performance issues, stuttering, frame drops, subpar average FPSs in general, and a host of other issues. Not just with those two games either, plenty of other PC ports suffered from those issues in recent years. And I want to clarify that I do understand that game development is hard, and optimizing a game for PC, considering the insane amount of configurations that are out there and that are possible, is not an easy task. I get that. I understand that. I'm not trying to crap on devs or anything, but with those PC port issues in mind, as well as preferring to collect my games physically, I love to physically own my games. I'm most of the time get a game on PS5 if it's available there, unless it's a game that I want to install mods for, like Baldur's Gate 3 or Dragon Age of Veilguard upcoming, or if close to the game's release date, I see reports or videos showcasing that the game also struggles on PS5 in terms of performance. If that isn't the case, I'm just gonna buy it on PlayStation 5, as long as I know it'll run at least close to 1080p 60 FPS, because I know that in terms of development, the dev team only had to worry about one set configuration of hardware, that is consoles, meaning that issues are less likely. Plus, if I get my nice disc and my nice case to collect, it feels good. I feel good physically owning my games is something that I enjoy of the gaming experience, right? Like, that is something that Sony and Microsoft both have going for their consoles over PC. One of the few things, because there's not a lot, right? One of the few things, but still, it's something that makes their consoles enticing nonetheless over PC. Other aspects, include like, okay, you don't got to worry about cheaters as much. It still can happen. I think I don't play many multiplayer games, but I digress, right? Or just there's a cheaper barrier to entry. That's another perk, but I digress, right? Crazily enough, this whole several PC ports being subpar in terms of performance thing isn't even their fault, but it's still an advantage they have. So why on earth would y'all make a move that shrinks that said advantage even a little bit? Well, why would you make a choice like this in terms of the PS5 Pro's price? As your console gets closer in price to a pretty good gaming PC, regardless of the issue with PC ports, people are just gonna opt in for buying the gaming PC or sticking with their base PS5 or PS4s, which I'll get to PS4s in a second. I'm going to talk about those. But seriously, like $700 gets a solid PC for playing games on. If you include the cost of that vertical stand or the disk drive for the PS5 Pro, like we're at $800 now. You know what I'm saying? We're at $800. You can get a great gaming PC for that price, or you must stick with the $700 PC, but now you got a little over $100 for your peripherals like a monitor, keyboard, mouse, and speakers. It essentially was the combo of, while games didn't have the best performance on PS5 compared to PC, at least several games were more stable on console. At least if you were cool with 1080p 60 FPS like I am. And the fact that it was only $500 to get started. Like, those two things together made picking up a PS5, even if you had a gaming PC like me, still somewhat makes sense. And okay, while sure, that still might be true because it's not like the base PS5 is going anywhere, right? You can still get one for those reasons. You'd still be getting one when a superior PS5 exists now, which is going to turn some people off too. While I want a PS5 Pro, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if I'm gonna get one. It may make sense as, again, someone who physically likes to own my games, stuff like that. Maybe if I happen to have a lot of disposable income that month, then maybe, I don't know, but still, in general, I just don't know. And that right there is the problem. That's the issue. My whole apprehensive attitude I have towards this announcement, parts of me fighting, I'm finding parts of this announcement ridiculous concerning like the price or other choices that were made, like the separate disk drive and stand. And that is not at all how you want consumers to feel about your console's mid-gen refresh. You want gamers to be excited because we've had these consoles for a few years now. You want us to be excited to see this new cool product and go, hell yeah, that looks awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it, and it seems like a good deal. And I have no idea how a boardroom full of execs we're going over details surrounding this PS5 Pro regarding the price and thought, oh yeah, we're going to get that reaction we want. PlayStation gamers are going to be excited with this announcement and the price point. Like how? Like how, Sway? Like how? Let me guess, like I do know. I think I do know, because first of all, they were definitely thinking about profits and the bottom line over anything else. Let's not kid ourselves. And also, they're just insanely out of touch, given how much wealth those execs have compared to the rest of us average gamers. But even with the profits side of things, did their financial analysis team point to this going well for them? Did they, oh yeah, us in the finance department and the number crunching department, they're gonna eat it up for $700. Like when the PS5 was announced, I was hyped up. I saw how good the games are supposed to look and play, and that price was $500. Okay, this is only $100 more expensive than the last gen consoles at launch. That ain't bad. And it's still cheaper than what they tried to do with the PS3. Okay, cool, I'm in. But since then, like, I feel while Sony's exclusive games and first party, games have been amazing and worth getting excited about, they've missed with some of their product announcements, y'all. Gamers wanted a new PlayStation handheld, and instead of something in the vein of, the awesome yet tragic PS Vita or PSPs, they went with a cloud gaming handheld. And the PSVR 2, I'm a VR enthusiast. I love my VR, right? While drastically improved over its predecessor, again, it didn't excite much at launch, mostly due to what games would be available when the thing came out. And it just hasn't sold well, to the point where now I think recently I saw an announcement that there's support for PC VR with your PSVR 2. Ironically, that actually kind of makes me want to get one. I'm upset about this PS5 Pro, but I might actually pick up a PSVR 2 now that it works with PCVR, but whatever, right? That's besides the point. And I did, you know what I'm saying? I really did want to get excited for a PS5 Pro, but that price makes it impossible. And not just the price, the separate disk drive and separate vertical stand at $700, $700 is honestly inexcusable. I prefer to collect my games physically, like I said, and I'll go out of my way to do so when I can. So to slap on an extra $80, at least that's what I saw, some articles reporting, that's outrageous. And you don't even get, the vertical stand with it. Like what were they thinking? How do we go from, it was 8 years ago. I did a little research for this video. 8 years ago, the launch of the PS4 Pro, that console released at $400, the same price as the original PS4 when it launched back in 2013. And then because of the Pro, they just simply knocked down the price of the base PS4 to $300. We got a $300 increase from the base PS5 to the new Pro model now. OG PS5 was $400 for the digital version and then $500 for the one with the disc drive. So the Pro is $700 with no drive and like $800 with it, right? That's crazy to me. That's ridiculous. Like, that's devious. They didn't even reduce the price of the base PS5 as a result. At least I haven't seen that yet. That may be the case. I haven't seen it yet. And what's crazy about all this is that we know Sony has been struggling to get gamers to abandon their PS4s and upgrade to PS5s. We know that. It's a fact per their own word during financial reports. So how is this strategy supposed to entice those that haven't upgraded yet? Let's imagine I was a PS4 gamer who hasn't pulled the trigger on upgrading yet, right? If I saw this new PS5 Pro and saw it was more expensive than the base PS5, I would be bummed to say the least. But okay, that happened. But if I saw that the price of the base PS5 was lowered as a result, I might be like, all right, this is the best time. I've been waiting all this time. This is the best time to go ahead and get that base PS5. It's a solid strategy to do that since they were struggling with this issue, right? I don't know why they haven't gone that route, why they think this $700 PS5 Pro was a good idea to kind of fill in that gap. Plenty of next gen console gamers, myself and self included, seem to theorize, conspire, conspiracy theories, right? But we're upset, that seemingly a lot of big console game releases are being held back in terms of their technical and graphical aspects because such a large player base are still gaming on their last gen consoles. So a move like what I was just talking about would, make strides to solve so many issues. In general, y'all, I usually get mad excited for mid-gen refreshes. Like ever since the PS2 era with the PS2 Slim, I think there was even a mid-gen refresh for the PS1. I loved that. Or all the dope different Xbox 360 variants we got. I loved all those. And it's a bummer that this time around the price just astronomically gets in the way of me being excited. But those are just my thoughts anyway. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think about the announcement? Are you excited at all for the PS5 Pro? Are you gonna cop one regardless of the price, or are you buying one but like begrudgingly doing so? Like, yeah, I'm gonna get it, but it hurts to buy. It hurts the wallet, hurts the soul, hurts everything. Be sure to let me know what your thoughts are, what you think about this whole situation. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Be easy.